take her as payment for the debt. He refused, but one look at her changed everything. Kareem had not slept properly for many nights. Every time he closed his eyes, numbers appeared in his mind. Numbers of money he did not have. Numbers that kept growing in his thoughts like a shadow that would not leave him alone. The small room he shared with his sick father felt smaller every day. The walls were thin, the fan made weak noise, and the air always felt heavy. Kareem would sit on a wooden chair at night, listening to his father's slow breathing, wondering how life had brought them here. Only a few months ago, life had been simple. Kareem worked at a small repair shop, fixing broken machines and doing odd jobs. The pay was not great, but it was enough for food, rent, and simple needs. His father, though old and weak, would sit outside in the evening, greeting neighbors and smiling at children passing by. Their life was not rich, but it had peace. Then his father became very sick. At first, Kareem thought it was just weakness from age, but one night his father collapsed, unable to stand. The neighbors helped take him to a small clinic. The doctor looked serious and said treatment was needed fast. The cost was more than Kareem had ever saved. Kareem felt his heart drop. He stood there, holding his father's hand, feeling helpless. That was the first time Kareem went to the local lender. The lender's office was in an old building at the edge of the market. The paint on the walls was peeling, and the windows were dusty. Everyone in the area knew about this man. Some said he helped people in need. Others said his help always came with a heavy price. Kareem did not want to go there, but he had no other choice. When your father's life is on the line, fear becomes smaller than love. The lender sat behind a big desk. He wore clean clothes and had a calm face, but his eyes were cold. He listened to Kareem's story without much emotion. Then he named an amount of money and explained the rules. The interest was high. The time was short. Kareem felt uncomfortable, but he nodded. He signed the papers with shaking hands. In his heart, he believed he would find extra work and pay everything back soon. At first, things went well. Kareem worked longer hours. He took side jobs. He fixed fans, radios, and even helped carry goods in the market for extra money. He barely slept, but every day he felt proud when he brought medicine home for his father. His father slowly improved. He could sit up again. He could talk more. Sometimes he would look at Kareem with tired eyes and say, "You are doing too much for me, my son." Kareem would smile and say, "You are my father. That is enough reason." But life is not always kind. But life is not always kind. The repair shop owner closed the business because of low sales. Kareem suddenly lost his main job. The side jobs were not enough. The lender's payment dates came closer. The interest made the amount bigger. Every time Kareem counted his money, it felt like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. He tried to stay strong, but stress changed him. His face looked older. His shoulders felt heavier. He stopped sleeping well again. At night, he would sit quietly, listening to the fan, thinking of ways to fix his problems. Sometimes he blamed himself. Sometimes he blamed life. But deep inside, he knew one thing clearly. He could not let his father suffer again. Then, one morning, a message came. A man from the lender's office came to their door and told Kareem that he must come to the office that day. There was no friendly tone in his voice. It sounded like an order, not a request. Kareem felt his chest tighten. He knew what it meant. The debt had grown too big. The lender wanted answers. Kareem walked to the office under the hot sun. The market was noisy, but to him, everything felt distant. His mind was full of fear and questions. What would he say? What could he promise? He had already promised many times. When he entered the office, the same cold air welcomed him. The lender was sitting behind the desk, looking at papers. He did not look up right away. That silence made Kareem more nervous than angry words would have. Finally, the lender raised his head and looked at Kareem. His face was calm, but there was no kindness in his eyes. "You are late on payments," the lender said. Kareem swallowed and nodded.
I know. I lost my job.
"But I am trying. Please give me some time. I will find work again." The lender leaned back in his chair.
"Everyone says that," he replied. "Time is money."
"Your debt is growing." Kareem felt sweat on his forehead. He spoke faster, afraid of the silence. "My father was sick. I borrowed to save him. I am not running away. I am here. I just need a chance." The lender looked at him for a long moment. The room felt smaller. The walls felt closer. Kareem could hear his own heartbeat. "You should have thought of that before signing," the lender said coldly. "I am not a charity." He wanted to explain how hard he had worked, how many nights he had gone without sleep. But he knew shouting would not help. He forced himself to stay calm. "I am not asking for free money," Kareem said quietly. "I am asking for a fair chance. I will work. I will pay." The lender stood up and walked to the window. He looked outside for a moment, then turned back. "Your debt is too big now," he said. "Cash is no longer enough for easy solutions." He did not fully understand what the lender meant, but he knew it was not good.
"What do you mean?" Kareem asked.
The lender did not answer right away. He walked back to his desk and picked up a file. He flipped through pages slowly, as if enjoying the power of the moment. Kareem stood there, feeling small, like a child waiting for punishment. "You came here as a desperate man," the lender said. "You signed the papers. You agreed to my rules. Now you are surprised that the rules are heavy." Kareem's voice became softer. "I did what I had to do to save my father." The lender looked at him sharply. "And now you must face the cost." The words hit Kareem like a weight on his chest. He felt trapped. He wanted to run, but he knew running would only make things worse. He thought of his father at home, sitting on the bed, waiting for medicine. He thought of the neighbors, who sometimes helped but could not carry his burden forever. "I am not a bad man," Kareem said slowly. "I am just unlucky." The lender gave a small, empty smile. "Luck has nothing to do with contracts." Kareem felt his hands shaking, but he kept them at his sides. He knew this meeting would change something. He just did not know how yet. In that moment, Kareem still believed there must be a normal way out. More work, more time, more effort. He did not know that this was only the beginning of a much harder test. As he stood there, waiting for the lender to speak again, Kareem felt a strange mix of fear and hope. Fear, because he knew how powerful this man was. Hope, because deep inside, he still believed that doing the right thing would somehow lead to a right ending. He was wrong about how simple it would be. This debt was no longer just about money. It was about choices, pressure, and a path that would soon force Kareem to face more than he ever expected. And this was only the start. Kareem stood in the office, his heart beating fast. The lender had gone quiet again, as if thinking deeply. The silence felt heavy, like thick air that was hard to breathe. Kareem tried to stay calm, but his mind was racing. He kept thinking about his father at home, weak but hopeful, believing his son would fix everything. That thought gave Kareem strength, but it also made the pressure worse. The lender finally sat back down and folded his hands on the desk. His voice was slow and controlled. "There may be another way," he said. Kareem felt a small rise of hope. "Another way?" he asked carefully. "Yes," the lender replied. "Not everything must be paid with cash." Kareem did not like how those words sounded. His chest felt tight again. Still, he leaned forward slightly. "What do you mean?" Instead, he tapped his fingers on the desk and looked toward the side of the room. Kareem followed his eyes. Near the wall, a young woman was standing quietly. Kareem had not noticed her clearly before. She was dressed simply, her head lowered, her hands held together in front of her. She looked nervous, as if she wished she could disappear. Kareem felt confused. "Why is she here?" he asked. The lender's face stayed calm. "She is connected to this matter," he said. "In some situations, people are used to settle problems." Kareem's stomach turned. He felt a cold wave move through his body. "Used?" he repeated. "What do you mean by that?" "Instead of money," he said slowly, "she can be taken as part of the payment." For a moment, Kareem thought he had not heard correctly. The words did not make sense in his mind. He felt shock first, then anger. His hands tightened into fists. "What are you saying?" Kareem said, his voice rising. "She is a person, not a thing." The young woman did not look up. Her shoulders moved slightly, as if she had heard this kind of talk before. That small movement made Kareem even more upset. "I will not agree to this," Kareem said firmly. "I came to pay a debt, not to take part in something wrong." The lender's eyes narrowed just a little. "You do not understand how things work here," he said. "When money is gone, other arrangements are made." Kareem shook his head. "Not with me. I will not accept this. I will find another way." The lender gave a short, cold laugh. "Find another way? You have already failed to find money."
What makes you think you will suddenly succeed? Kareem felt his face grow hot. I will work harder.
"I will go to another city if I have to, but I will not accept this kind of offer." The room felt tense. The air between them was thick with anger and disbelief. Kareem could feel his heart beating in his ears. The lender stood up again.
"You are in no position to make demands," he said. "You signed the papers."
You accepted my terms.
I accepted money terms.
Kareem replied. "Not this." The lender walked a few steps closer to Kareem. "You are lucky I am even offering options," he said. "Many people would not get this chance." Kareem took a step back, not out of fear, but out of disbelief. "This is not a chance," he said. "This is wrong." For the first time, Kareem turned his full attention to the young woman. He looked at her more carefully. She looked young, tired, and scared. There was something in her posture that showed she had no power in this room. She was not speaking. She was not defending herself. She was just standing there, as if waiting for others to decide her future. That made Kareem's chest hurt in a way he did not expect. "Does she even agree to this?" Kareem asked. The lender shrugged. "That is not your concern." Kareem felt anger rise again. "It is my concern, if you are asking me to be part of it." The young woman finally lifted her head just a little. Her eyes did not fully meet Kareem's, but he could see fear in them. It was not loud fear. It was quiet, tired fear, the kind that comes after too many hard days. Kareem looked back at the lender. "I will not take part in this," he said clearly. "I refuse." The lender's face hardened. "Then you leave me no choice," he said.
Your debt will continue to grow. The pressure will increase. I accept that.
Kareem replied, "But I will not accept this." The lender studied him for a long moment. It was clear he was not used to people refusing him. Most people in Kareem's position begged, cried, or agreed to things they did not like. Kareem was standing his ground, even though it scared him. "You think you are being brave," the lender said. "But bravery does not pay debts." Kareem answered softly, "Maybe not. But some things are worth more than money." There was another long silence. The young woman stood still, as if afraid to breathe too loudly. Kareem could feel the weight of the moment on all of them. Finally, Kareem took a step toward the door. "I will not agree," he said again. "If you want to threaten me, do it. But I will not be part of this." His hand touched the door handle. His heart was beating fast. He did not know what would happen next. He only knew that staying silent would make him part of something he could not live with. As he stood there, ready to leave, Kareem felt a strange mix of fear and strength. Fear because he was walking into more trouble. Strength because for once he had not let pressure change what he believed was right. Behind him, the lender's voice came again, calm but sharp. "Think carefully," he said. "Once you walk out, things will not be easy for you." Kareem paused for a second. He did think. He thought of his father. He thought of long nights of work. He thought of the young woman standing quietly, waiting for others to decide her life. Then he opened the door. "I am already living a hard life," Kareem said, "but I will not make it harder by losing myself." He stepped out into the bright light of the street. The noise of the market hit his ears. People were talking, buying, selling, living normal lives. For a moment, Kareem felt like he was in a different world. Inside the office, dark choices were being discussed. Outside, life went on. As he walked away, his legs felt heavy, but his heart felt clear. He did not know how he would fix his debt. He did not know how much worse things could get. But he knew one thing for sure. He had said no. And sometimes saying no is the first step toward a much bigger change, even if that change brings new problems with it. Kareem did not know yet that this refusal, this single strong decision, was about to pull him into a story much bigger than money alone. Kareem walked away from the lender's office, but his mind stayed behind. Every step felt heavy, as if the ground itself was trying to slow him down. The noise of the market surrounded him, but he barely noticed it. People were laughing, arguing over prices, calling out to customers. Life was moving as normal for everyone else, but for Kareem, everything felt different. He kept thinking about the young woman. He did not even know her name, but her face stayed in his mind. Not because of beauty or anything dramatic, but because of the quiet fear in her eyes. It was the kind of look that said she had been carrying too much for too long. Kareem tried to push the image away, telling himself he had done what he could. He had refused. He had stood his ground. That should have been the end of it, but it was not. When Kareem reached home, he found his father sitting on the bed, coughing lightly. The room smelled of medicine and weak tea. Kareem forced a smile and greeted him, hiding the storm inside his heart. "Did you go to the office?" his father asked. "Yes," Kareem replied. "We talked." His father looked at his face carefully.
And
Kareem hesitated. He did not want to worry his father. The old man had enough pain already. "It will take time," Kareem said. But I will manage. His father nodded slowly, trusting his son the way fathers often do, even when they are afraid. I believe in you, he said softly. Those words made Kareem's chest feel tight. Belief is a heavy gift when you are not sure you can carry it. That night, Kareem could not sleep. He lay on his thin mattress, staring at the ceiling. The fan turned slowly, making a soft, repeating sound. In his mind, he saw the office again. The desk, the cold eyes of the lender, the young woman standing quietly near the wall. He kept asking himself the same question. Why was she there? He knew the answer was not simple. People do not end up in places like that without a long story behind them. He wondered if she had family, if someone was waiting for her at home the way his father waited for him. The thought made him feel uneasy. The next day, Kareem went out early to look for work. He walked from shop to shop, asking if anyone needed help. Some people said no. Some said maybe later. A few offered small jobs that paid very little. Kareem accepted everything, carrying boxes, cleaning storage rooms, fixing small machines. His body ached, but he kept going. All the while, his mind kept returning to the same place, the office. He told himself not to go back. It was dangerous. The lender had power. Going back would only bring more pressure. But something inside him would not stay quiet. It was not just about the debt anymore. It was about that look in the young woman's eyes. In the afternoon, while resting for a moment near a tea stall, Kareem overheard two men talking. They were speaking about people who get trapped in debt and how their lives slowly get controlled by others. Kareem did not join the conversation, but every word felt close to his own situation. He finished his tea and stood up. His hands were shaking slightly, not from weakness, but from a decision forming in his heart. He turned his steps back toward the lender's office. As he walked, his mind argued with itself. What are you doing? You already refused.
You have no power there. You will only make things worse.
But another voice inside him answered, if you walk away now, you will always remember that you left someone behind. When Kareem reached the building, he stood outside for a long moment. The same old walls, the same dusty windows. From the outside, it looked like any other office. No sign showed what kind of decisions were made inside. He took a deep breath and went in. The lender looked surprised to see him again. You came back, he said. Kareem nodded. I have something to say. The lender gestured for him to speak. I am not here to accept your offer, Kareem said. I am here because I cannot stop thinking about it. The lender raised an eyebrow. Thinking does not change contracts. I know, Kareem replied. But people are not contracts. The lender leaned back in his chair. You care too much, he said. That is why you are in trouble. Kareem did not deny it, but I cannot pretend I did not see what I saw. The lender looked toward the side of the room. The young woman was not there this time. The space where she had stood was empty. Where is she? Kareem asked before he could stop himself. The lender looked back at him. That is not your business. It became my business the moment you involved me, Kareem said quietly. The lender's eyes became colder. You are making a mistake by pushing this. Kareem felt fear, but he kept speaking. I am already in trouble. More trouble does not scare me as much as doing nothing. The lender studied him in silence. It was clear he was trying to understand Kareem, not with kindness, but with calculation. People like him always calculated. You think you can save everyone, the lender said. Life does not work that way. I do not think I can save everyone, Kareem replied. But maybe I can stop one wrong thing. The room felt tense again. The lender finally said, You should focus on your own problems. Kareem answered, I am. This is part of my problem now. As Kareem turned to leave, something unexpected happened. From a back room, the young woman stepped out. She had been standing there quietly, listening. This time, she lifted her head fully. Her eyes met Kareem's for the first time. In that moment, Kareem understood something without words. She was not just scared, she was tired of being invisible. There was no crying, no loud emotion, just a deep, silent sadness mixed with a small, weak hope. The kind of hope that appears when someone finally looks at you like you matter. That single look hit Kareem harder than any threat. He felt it deep in his chest. It was not love. It was not pity. It was something stronger and simpler. It was the feeling that this was a human being who needed someone to stand in front of her, not behind her. Kareem held her gaze for a second longer. Then he looked back at the lender. I will not pretend this does not exist, Kareem said. I may be poor. I may be in debt. But I am still a man who can choose what kind of person he is. The young woman looked down again, but this time her shoulders were slightly less heavy. Kareem walked out of the office once more, but this time he was not just running from a problem. He was walking toward a choice. A dangerous choice, a hard choice. But a choice that, in his heart, already felt right. He did not know how. He did not know when. He only knew that one look had changed something inside him. And once something changes inside, life is never the same again. Kareem did not tell anyone about what he was planning. Not his father, not the neighbors, not even the few friends he still had in the market. He kept everything inside, carrying his thoughts like a heavy bag on his back. On the outside, he looked the same. On the inside, his life was changing direction. After seeing the young woman again, Kareem knew he could not stay silent. But he also knew that emotions alone would not solve anything. The lender was powerful in that area. He had connections. He had money. Kareem had only his hands, his will, and his reputation as a hard-working man. So he made a decision. He would fight the debt in the only way he could. With work, with time, with pressure on himself instead of on someone else. The next morning, Kareem woke up before sunrise. The sky was still dark, and the air was cold. He washed his face, said a quiet prayer, and left the house while his father was still asleep. He did not want to answer questions. He just wanted to start. He went to the bus stand and asked drivers if they needed helpers. One driver agreed to let him load and unload bags for a small amount. The work was heavy. His hands hurt. His back burned. But he did not complain. He worked until his shirt was wet with sweat. From there, he went to the market. He asked shop owners if they needed someone to clean, carry, fix, or guard their shops at night. Some said no. Some said maybe. A few gave him short jobs. By the end of the day, Kareem was exhausted. His legs felt weak. His fingers were sore. But when he counted his money, he felt a small sense of victory. It was not much, but it was something. That night, his father noticed how tired he looked. "You are pushing yourself too hard," his father said gently. Kareem smiled. "I am strong," he replied. "Do not worry." But inside, he knew this was only the beginning. Days turned into a hard routine. Kareem worked in the morning at the bus stand. In the afternoon, he took market jobs. In the evening, he fixed small machines for neighbors. Sometimes he even worked at night, helping unload trucks. Sleep became short. Food became simple. His life became work. Kareem is working like a machine, one shopkeeper said. He looks tired, but he never says no, another said. Some people respected him for it. Some shook their heads, saying he would break himself this way. But Kareem did not slow down. Every time his body wanted to stop, his mind showed him the young woman standing quietly in that office. It reminded him why he was doing this. It reminded him that his pain had a reason. After a few weeks, Kareem went back to the lender's office. This time, he did not go with fear. He went with tired eyes and firm steps. The lender looked at him with surprise. "You are still standing," he said. "I came to talk." The lender gestured for him to sit. "Talk." "I want more time," Kareem said. "And I want clear terms. No strange offers. Only money. I will pay, but I need space to breathe." The lender studied him. "You think hard work changes rules?" "Maybe not," Kareem said. "But it changes people." The lender leaned forward. "Why are you pushing so hard?" he asked. "Most men in your place give up or agree to whatever they are offered." Kareem did not mention the young woman. He did not say her name. He only said, "Because I have to live with myself." The lender was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled slightly. "You are a stubborn man." "Maybe," Kareem said, "but I am not a weak one." The lender tapped the desk slowly. "I will give you some time," he said, "not because I am kind, but because I am curious to see how long you can last." Kareem nodded. "That is enough." As he stood to leave, he felt something he had not felt in a long time. A small piece of control. Outside the office, the sun felt brighter. The air felt lighter. His problems were still there, but now he had a clear direction. Work harder, pay faster, protect what is right. But life does not test you only once. The pressure increased. Some days Kareem could barely stand straight. His hands developed small cuts. His shoulders stayed sore. Sometimes he felt dizzy from lack of rest, but he did not stop. One evening, while walking home, he saw the young woman from a distance. She was in the market, carrying a small bag. She walked slowly, looking around as if afraid someone might call her back. Kareem's heart beat faster. He did not go to her. He did not want to scare her. He did not want to cause trouble for her, but seeing her outside the office made him realize something important. She had a life outside that dark room. She was not just part of a problem. She was a person trying to survive, just like him. That made Kareem's decision even stronger. From that day on, he worked not only for his father, he worked for dignity. He worked for the idea that people should not be treated like objects. The lender noticed his payments slowly improving. They were small, but they were steady. The debt was still heavy, but for the first time, it was moving in the right direction. "You are serious," the lender said during one visit. "Yes," Kareem replied. "I am." The lender looked at him carefully. "Just remember," he said, "the road you chose is harder."
Kareem answered calmly, "Harder is better than wrong." As Kareem walked out that day, he felt the weight on his shoulders.
But he also felt something else. Purpose. He was tired. He was poor. He was under pressure. But he was no longer just a man running from debt. He was a man standing for something, and sometimes standing for something is the most dangerous choice of all, but also the most powerful. Kareem's life slowly became a long test of patience and strength. Every day felt the same, yet every day also felt heavier. He woke up before the sun, worked until his body shook with tiredness, and came home only to sleep for a few short hours before starting again. His father noticed the change. Kareem had become thinner. Kareem had become thinner. His eyes looked tired all the time, but his spirit, even under all that weight, had become stronger. The small payments he made to the lender began to add up. They were not large, but they were steady. The lender, who was used to people giving up, started to see Kareem differently. Not with kindness, but with a new kind of respect. Kareem was no longer just a desperate man. He was a man who refused to disappear. One evening, Kareem sat beside his father, giving him medicine and helping him drink water. His father looked at him for a long time. "You are carrying something heavy in your heart," his father said softly. Kareem looked down. For a moment, he thought about telling him everything, but he stopped himself. He did not want to add more worry to his father's life. "I am just tired," Kareem said. His father smiled weakly. "Tired men rest." "Ah!" "Burdened men stay awake even when they sleep." Those words stayed with Kareem. That night, Kareem lay awake again, staring at the ceiling. But this time, his thoughts were different. He was no longer only afraid of the debt. He was thinking about the future. What kind of man would he be after all this? A broken one or a stronger one? In the weeks that followed, Kareem started to notice small changes around him. Shop owners trusted him more. Some offered him better paying work. A truck driver who saw how hard Kareem worked gave him regular loading jobs. The money was still not easy, but it was more stable. Slowly, very slowly, the debt number began to shrink. Not fast, but enough to give Kareem hope. One afternoon, while working near the market, Kareem saw the young woman again. This time she was buying vegetables. She looked thinner, but her steps were a little stronger. She noticed Kareem too. Their eyes met. This time she did not look away immediately. There was no big moment, no dramatic scene, just a quiet understanding between two people who had both been through pressure they did not choose. She gave a small, respectful nod. Kareem nodded back. That was all. But for Kareem, that small moment meant a lot. It meant she was still standing. It meant his choices had not been useless. He did not speak to her. He did not approach her. He knew that sometimes the best support is simply not making someone's life harder. Months passed. Kareem's father's health became more stable. He was still weak, but he could sit outside again. He could talk to neighbors. Sometimes he would smile and say, "Life is hard, but it has not beaten us yet." Kareem would smile back, even when his body felt like it could not take much more. One day, Kareem went to the lender's office with a thicker envelope than usual. His hands were shaking slightly, not from fear this time, but from hope. The lender opened the envelope and counted. "You have made real progress," the lender said. "I told you I would," Kareem replied. The lender looked at him for a long moment.
Many men talk, few men prove.
He did not need to explain himself anymore. "You still owe," the lender continued. "But you are no longer drowning." That sentence felt like fresh air to Kareem. As he stood to leave, the lender added, "You chose the harder road." Kareem looked at him calmly.
Yes, but I can walk it with my head up.
Outside, Kareem stopped for a moment and looked at the sky. The sun was bright. The noise of the market was loud. Life was still hard, but it felt different now. Not lighter, but stronger. That evening, Kareem sat with his father and shared a simple meal. They talked about small things, the weather, the neighbors, old memories. For the first time in a long while, Kareem felt something close to peace. Not because his problems were gone, but because he knew who he was now. He was not just a man in debt. He was a man who had faced pressure and chosen dignity. He was a man who had seen someone in a weak position and refused to become part of something wrong. He was a man who had learned that real strength is not loud. It is quiet. It is saying no when it is easier to say yes. It is choosing the harder path because you can live with yourself at the end of the day. Kareem did not know what the future would bring. Life in his world was never simple. New problems would come, new tests would appear. But one thing was clear: the debt had changed him, not by breaking him, but by teaching him who he truly was. And sometimes that is the real payment life asks for. Not money, but character.